Resident Evil 0.
Resident Evil 0, a game that had a bit of a slightly muddled development period in the late 90s, which eventually made its way to the GameCube, when it was in fact supposed to come out on the N64. It was supposed to be on the N64, but it was claimed by the devs at the time that the game itself could not fit on the N64 cartridge. Thus the game was delayed, and the original project of Resident Evil 0 was cancelled. The game Resident Evil 0 was directed by Koji Oda, who has worked on other Resident Evil titles like Resident Evil 0, Mega Man 11 recently, and Super Ghouls and Ghouls. Resident Evil 0 has you play as Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen. The classic Resident Evil games before 0 always had multiple characters you can play as, either for a short while after playing the main character, or allows you to play as other characters for extra playthroughs in other characters' eyes, like the A and B scenarios in RE2, or choosing who you want to play through for your first time playthrough, or extra one in Resident Evil 1 being Jill or Chris. Resident Evil 0 is different from other classic Resident Evil games for a couple of reasons. Resident Evil 0 has you play as different characters like other Resident Evil games, but they are happening simultaneously both of your playthroughs. You can choose between who you want to play as at a given moment, being Billy or Rebecca, during gameplay. But you can only play as one directly, as the other character is controlled by an AI. You can issue commands to this other character, however. Make him or her wait in place, or make them follow you, attack, or idle. Idle being they don't attack without your say-so after you select these options in the pause menu. This change in pace to other face camera angle RE games in 0 has its drawbacks. Having two characters like this simplifies the fights and makes them a whole lot easier. I'm not entirely mad by this, but this is something to point out. It eliminates the threat of zombies pretty much. Despite that, there is thought to be had when item managing and watching for your ammo, because you need to use your best ammo on bosses or very tough enemies. Switching between the characters when doing puzzles is interesting, but as a side note, I'm not entirely the best when it comes to this sort of thing in RE games, or classic RE games. I have no shame. When I look up an answer online, it helps me with the toughest puzzles in the game, or when I'm confused when I need to progress. This is an old-fashioned RE game. You need to examine stuff around you, examine key items you've recently collected in order to find an answer behind the item to help you progress. Some puzzles in Resident Evil 0 are easier or harder than others. The ones that are easy are similar to the ones in Resident Evil 2 or the small amount of puzzles you would see in RE3 Remake. RE0 is lengthy for a first time playthrough, and granted I went through this game very slowly, and it took me rather a few days as I took breaks, but naturally all RE games are short. By the time I beat RE0, the game claims in total it took me 10 hours. If you are offset by this RE potentially being short, just know if you played RE1 Remake, you won't be disappointed by RE0, at least in this aspect. But there are other aspects of this game that was disappointing. There is a controversial mechanic in this Resident Evil game, and that is the lack of an item box. Instead, you must leave all your current collected items on the ground, causing you to really think in some cases what to bring with you to a new area. The caveat to this new mechanic is there is a limit to how much items you can leave in a room. Thus, you will have to go to another room and leave your other items elsewhere if you want to free up space. When I first was playing through RE0, I thought this was an interesting concept. And little did I know, after the train sequence at the beginning of the game, that it was for the rest of the game that I had to do this. And sometimes it spread me farther the item management to where I needed to go. Slowly I realized I have to bring the best key items to progress with me, since there are two characters that can multiply what you need to do and when you need to backtrack even more. Late game, this really bothered me as I didn't think to equip Billy with a handgun to kill regular enemies because I wasted my shotgun ammo on them and didn't have enough to kill the final bosses in the game. This RE requires that you don't waste your best ammo on regular enemies and only for the tough ones, because oh boy are they tough. This game, guys, is tough, man, let me tell you. It can feel like sometimes it's punishing you for not even knowing what's coming. Lizardmen monsters do a hell of a lot of damage to you and have crazy range. Having a stretchy arm that smacks you halfway across the screen is ridiculous. The best way to beat these guys is to shoot them from a far distance, or to throw alcohol with fire paper in them to do high damage. Usually 3 bottles is enough to kill lizardmen monsters, but truth be told, these items are very rare to come by. Luckily, the lizardmen monsters don't appear too much in the game, so that's a good thing, I guess. There are hunters in the game too, guys, and they are not bad to deal with. If you have a shotgun in hand or 2 allies with you, shoot them with handguns and you'll get rid of them no problem. What's more dangerous than hunters, funnily enough, is fucking monkeys. I'm not kidding. Those little fuckers can stun lock you in a combo, and you can be stuck in a corner and it can be hard to get out. Best thing to do is have a shotgun, pin your back against a corner, and wait for them to come to you. It really is annoying. What makes it BS is how fast these fucking monkeys are, and the fact they can combo you and make you stuck in place. It's really fucking bad. The bosses in the game though are very easy, unlike Code Veronica, which are frustrating. Mostly just have to do some dodging, or with the first boss, stand in place and shoot. You do fight a tyrant in this game, and it requires you to move a little. Alright, I've talked a lot about the gameplay in RE0, so let's talk about the story. This game's story takes place a day before the mansion incident in Resident Evil 1 Remake in the Arklay Mountains. You venture the game as Rebecca Chambers with Billy Cohen as you discover the origins of the T-virus and who created it, as well as escaping an Umbrella's scientific department that looks similar to the Spencer Mansion in RE1. Overall, I think RE0, I liked it personally more than Code Veronica, but it arguably has more enemies RE0 that were annoying. But I will say about it is, compared to other RE games, is pretty, for sure. It's an okay classic Resident Evil game with some nice character banter in the beginning between Billy and Rebecca when they first meet each other. And it's a very simple story, granted that is expected from a Resident Evil title, and it's, it's kind of typical. It's definitely not a great RE title. If you're looking for more of an of fixed camera angle RE games after playing RE1 Remake, RE0 is fine, but it has its problems that definitely hold it back from bringing a great experience like Resident Evil 1 Remake. Overall, guys, that was my thoughts on Resident Evil 0, and I hopefully you found it helpful, and I'll catch you guys later. Adios.